listening to
KXVS.
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 The voice of Stockton.
Hot damn. See you licking frozen from your own hands. Want another taste of making yes.
Good morning, Rise and Shine 209. I am Miz J here with London and Alex. We are the morning crew, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Kyle Hunt, co-founder of Oneball Basketball, basketball coach, youth mentor, behavioral specialist, all that stuff. Referee. You're a referee, son, brother, and friend. Having a great time talking about the importance of...
When are we hanging out, man?
Yeah.
You gotta hang out, man.
Cool.
I like this guy.
I mean, but he's busy. Being a celebrity that he is. It's hard for...
Let's not time out. Stockton, let's not put that out there.
You always say that. I'm busy.
I am, but I'm still a common man that's just trying to do...
I don't know if busy equates to being a celebrity.
Thank you.
No, he is.
I'm just active in the city where I live.
Everywhere he goes, there's someone that knows him.
Everywhere he goes.
People want to know. Remember the Titans?
Yes.
Come on, Alex. I know you know it.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
But no, yeah. No, I do know quite a bit
Yes.
of people, whether it's by facial recognition or by first name.
He has
Well,
to,
I mean, I'm the
and
same
he
way.
has to avoid social media
I don't like social media.
because
You know why?
of people.
Yes.
Exactly. Same thing with celebrity. Well, we're all a bunch of celebrities in here.
Yeah.
So he's
you,
like
you
the-
all are. You all have your own radio
the
show.
sports,
I don't have my own radio
OJ.
show.
We can
Of the
make
community.
something happen.
I don't have time. See, I'm
See, because
busy.
he's busy.
I'm busy right now. I'm actually busy
what I
doing the
mean?
show right now.
You said I got plans.
I got plans. Yeah, it's President's Day. I'm off.
Woohoo!
Oh, so what are you doing later?
I'm sleeping. I made like
He said he was coming to the sports show. He wanted
Oh
to
yeah.
come to
Hey
you.
Alex, can I come? Can I come to the sports show tonight?
Yeah.
7:00.
7 to 9.
Oh,
7
yeah.
and 9. Oh, you about to double up on KXVS? What? Surprise.
Hire
Those of
me.
you who are watching live, you heard it first.
Right.
Kyle
Yeah.
Hunt, special guest tonight.
KXVS Sports Tonight.
Oh,
Sports
sports
Tonight.
tonight.
Yeah, and even
Alex
if you
Woods?
don't feel like coming in, you can always call in. Put you on.
No, that's fine. I live up the street without telling y'all where I live, so that way nobody
That
trying to
works.
come find me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I got 2 in 1 day. Surprise announcement.
Because I always love talking about sports, man. I could talk about that.
I mean, well, before we get to sports,
Okay.
I'm sure we'll
Sorry.
talk
Go
about
ahead.
that
Yeah.
at some point. We wanted to get into a little bit more about your life and your experience as an African American man, someone who's coming up in the world, who's mentoring the youth. I know you said that connects to your story and your mom, and
Yeah.
where should we even start there? How do we begin to cut this pie?
I guess just with my family, because my family was my foundation. They were everything to me, as far as giving me my beliefs, starting off, until I became old enough to, do my own research and start looking for, not other ways, not the best way to phrase it, but just, finding out truths for myself. And so, but they did a great job of giving me that foundation to like stand on and to always go back to and always go by. And whether it's from my mom being like literally, yes, she's my mom. I do call her Kim at times, but it's more of a joke. But she literally, although she would never really be my friend, she was like my close friend. I told her about girls before I told my homeboys. Mm-hmm. She would know things like that. So I think boiling it down is for us as black people and especially black men, where it's hard for us naturally. We don't have to do anything for life to be hard. Like whether we make all the right choices or make all the wrong choices, we're still going to face a lot of obstacles. We're still going to have to jump through hoops and, do things that necessarily make us a little uncomfortable, but we're going to have to do it in order to make it. But I guess my point is having that open dialogue with my family members and letting them know at times how I felt and not always running to my friends. Reason why is because they're gonna think a lot like me. We're the same age. They ain't been through nothing. They ain't paid no bills.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? Take it back. Not saying that they never been through anything because as a what's the word? Adolescent. I mean, people go through a lot. Like
Right.
whether they're homeless, whether drug abuse with family members, and things of that.
But it's
nature.
not the same as what you're going through.
Yeah, but it's also not the same as what I'm going through. But also just that whole wisdom part we were talking about. And just getting that and like really taking it to heart and getting all that knowledge and then being able to use it in your everyday life
Right.
means something.
Because wisdom comes with experience
Yes.
versus just with age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing I've heard recently is stop asking people for directions to places that they've never been.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a
Because
good one.
you're going
Yeah.
somewhere and you have your own life.
And God even
Yeah.
tells you stop running to other people when you should run to who? The Father. You should run to Him. Like, why are you like every time something happens, people are going to social media. That's part of the reason why I don't really care for social media. Like everybody wants to show all of the good. Everybody wants to be
Right.
what's the word? Pretentious.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Oh,
Facebook
look at me!
The
I
facade.
did this, and
Facebook
I
heavy.
went here, and I
I
did
did
that.
this, and my life is
which-
perfect, and
exactly,
I'm doing this,
which
and
is great.
I don't have any flaws.
Or, there are a lot of people that do the opposite. There's no balance.
Yeah.
Let's say that. Because then
Or-
there's the people that just get on there
And be
just
angry.
to put
Yeah.
and sad and
FML.
drama and
And
yeah,
your
FML.
face.
Yeah.
That's too much.
all the
the
time.
time.
The only reason why they get on is I hate when people.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a lot of wasted energy because
Yeah.
they could be writing, they could be praying.
Nah, and obviously they feel like writing.
Yeah, but I mean, like they can turn all that into a novel. They can turn it into some sort of literature that can be published. I mean, chaos is great, right? And the reason why I say chaos is great because it brings back order. Chaos brings order, ultimately. And so when people are going through those chaotic or going through those stressful moments, stop being so wrapped up in what's bad about it and start to look for that light.
Try to figure out how to put these
Exactly,
pieces
because
together.
there is light that's coming towards the end of that chaos, towards the end of that tunnel. It's there. It's
Yeah.
proven. Because every time that there's a storm, what normally comes out?
Right.
The sun normally
sun
comes
afterwards.
and like shows itself, whether it be for 30 seconds, be for an hour. It still generally shows up, right?
Right.
And so we have to stop getting caught up in things of in those negative terms because life is already negative. People already don't care
Right,
for us.
right.
People already look at us as if they're waiting for us to mess up.
fail.
That's why they're building jails now for kids that are 8, 9 years old.
Right.
Because I think it's second or third grade determines how many jails that they're or
Right,
how many
right
prisons
now.
that they're going to build in the future.
Right.
And they're not building it for me. They're building it for your second and for your third grader.
Right.
Who they're counting. Not like they hope things don't go. No, they're counting, they're planning, they're budgeting for your child to end up in that prison system so they can make, well, it was 30,000 when I was younger. It's probably more like 40, 50,000.
Yeah.
That's money that we're paying. So with that being said, we need to focus on having dialogue with your children. Being there, being open, having those tough conversations, because if you don't, then who are they going to run to?
That's a perfect segue to exactly what I was going to ask you next. Is as someone who mentors children and is good with children and spends a lot of time with children, how do you put that into words? How do you? Because I'm not around a lot of children, so I don't have to have these conversations. I know that you're a mother as well, and so that you have to have these conversations sometimes. How do you put those words and those thoughts into someone who is a second or a third grader? How do you give them these notions or ideas without having to tell them, that the world is ending?
No, Kyle tells them.
Yeah.
Not really the world is ending, but he's
Yeah.
more direct. Like, we're waiting on you to mess up. We got to get it
Yeah.
together.
Well, you want to give the balance, right? You want to
Yeah.
give the balance, right?
Well-
You don't want to give it all. You don't want to be all sunshine and daisies, but
Right,
you also don't
right.
want to be
Yeah.
all doom and gloom. Like, there has to be a
Right.
balance. So how do you do that?
So I'm like my family. I'm pretty straight up. Whether you're second, third grade, whether you're in high school, it's all gonna be the same, right? It's all gonna be the same for you, especially if you look like me. And so I guess it just comes from one, being led. Like, I really sometimes after I get done speaking with kids, I'm like, dang, I know I didn't say that. I know that really didn't come from me. Without getting too spiritual, but that's really what it is. Is that this is my gift, and I know that's not a direct answer, or it's not, like let me go in and take notes so I can use it. But it just really comes from, for one, understanding yourself and understanding life as best way as you can. And then as you do that, I think it's how that child looks at you. What light or what light do they see you in? And if they see you in a light of, I can trust you, I can count on you, I know that I can come to you when things are great, but also I got to come to you when things aren't so great, then that's how your message gets across. I was just talking to my lady about it, and I was telling her, we were talking about messages being understood or being heard, and I kind of referenced back to the Bible. And when Jesus was here, he necessarily didn't get wrapped up in, if I tell you this, Jennifer, are you gonna fully understand? He told him and say, you take this information and take with it and do with it
what you will.
I'm just following orders. Right? Jesus came down and just said, I'm just following orders. I'm not necessarily gonna walk your hand through the whole process and then call you every day. Hey, do you finally get it? Hey, do you finally get it? No, he gave them what they needed, and so whether they got it when they were right there, they got it when they went through something that was meant for them to like go through for it to click, and that's how I look at it. I'm not necessarily. I don't need you to understand right away. Right. I need you to understand.
And then having the gift in support of Kyle, but just in life, having the gift of being versatile, since we're using, Jesus the Christ as an example. There's scripture that says when he went to talk to carpenters, he talked about carpentry. When he went to talk to fishermen, he talked about fishing, and so forth and so on. He didn't go to a fisherman and use buildings as an example. So you have to understand, to reach a child, you have to get to their level and make it understandable to them, even though these are harsh things. So even when I talk to my son about life lessons just like that, I have to bring it to where he can understand based on the resources and tools that he has. So it really isn't just an age thing either. That's with adults as well. And unfortunately, I guess he gave that example of the experiences that you have, even though we, as Black people are coming from the same background, especially in Stockton. We talk about it a lot. There are a lot of people here in Stockton that has never been outside of Stockton, besides going to Vegas, going to Reno or LA, but they've never been outside of the West Coast. So you have to, you have to understand that
their scope is limited.
Their scope is limited. Exactly. So even coming back from Atlanta, and to this day, I still struggle with understanding, and people call it, being pretentious or bougie, or I think I'm better than somebody else. It's
you talk white.
But just my perspective on situations as a Black woman is not the same as Black women here, because I don't have the same perspective or scope. I got outside of the West Coast.
Broader.
I think that we can all. At least the four of us in this room can.
Right. So mentoring, Black kids in our community, we have to give them that type of balance as well. Not just saying, life is hard, son, and there are going to be some people that don't like you. That's truth.
Hear that either.
That's truth. But a child is not going to understand that. Why would anybody like me?
They're going to say why, exactly.
And that's my son, and I call him my heartbeat because he stretches me as well. It's back and forth, and I believe Kyle can agree too. Even when Kyle, I'll share this story.
What?
When Isaiah first came to practice, I'll share the story of how they got together as best friends now. We were at a community event. Shouts out to Angel Mothers. Jessica
Sewell.
Yeah, discussing actually these type of issues. Her son was murdered, and the case is still unsolved right now. And so we had an event in support and encouraging people to come out with any information. Stockton Angel Mothers, their page, you can get all the information. These are mothers that are dealing with losing their children. So it's already a heavy situation to get there. So I went. I had just met Jessica about a month before. I really didn't know her. Tashanti McCoy-Ham, who will be on Thursday, invited me to go, and I took my son, not knowing exactly what they'll be talking about. So the police officers are there. There's these memorial pictures of the fallen son, and I'm just like, oh my God, people are crying with memories, and there's a group of boys. Very mixed. There was, I think there's one black boy, but Filipino, Mexico, they're minorities sitting at this table. At the time, of course, I know nobody there. So there's adults mixed at the table, listening to these people pour out their hearts, crying. It's a very heavy topic. And these boys were between the ages of about 9 and 13. There was about, I think, 5 or 6 of them sitting at a table by themselves. They were quiet. They were attentive. They were respectful. They weren't, none of that. They were engaged. And I was off with my son who's, looking around, distracted, like a child is, They were very respectful, very mature. They all had on their jerseys together. And I said, and at that time I was looking for another team for my son. I said, I don't know where those boys come from. I don't know who's with them, but whomever is coaching those boys, my son needs to be there, because the adults were worse, on their phones, texting, side conversations. And we're like, can you be quiet in the back? The boys were in the front. They were very, very respectful. So after the event, while the event is going on, Kyle got up and he spoke, and then I learned he was the coach of these boys. So after the event, I went up, I said, hey, I don't know who you are, what you do. Can you get a third grader in? And he's like, well, I don't have a third grade team right now, but bring them by. We can work out something. And that was it. It was still about almost a month later before we had a conversation. But Isaiah went up and my son, and he was talking about, his highlights in his basketball career. And he's like, second grader. He had a few highlights. So how you men are. So they had a exchange, a few words, and Kyle was like, okay, great guy. I'll see you when we figure out something. About another month, almost 2 went by, and we were able to audit one of his basketball practices. And, we're there, and I thought, just like any other person, we're just going to sit back and watch. And Kyle was like, all right, Isaiah, let's go. And Isaiah was like, it's time for me to go now? He's like, yeah, and drop down and give me 5. You're not doing it right. like he's been there. And Isaiah was looking at me like, Mom? And I was like, hey, you wanted this dude. But he did not make him feel like the new kid. Mm-hmm. He did not make him feel like, because you're younger, you're inexperienced, that I'm going to, cut you some slack. And there were 8th grade boys there. My son, to this day, I think is still the youngest one on the team, but still gets that work in. And those boys to this day didn't look at Isaiah as, you're the new kid. Oh, I'm not going to deal with you. I mean, they do push him around sometimes just to, toughen him up. You know how boys are. But he became part of the team immediately, to where he built the confidence, or gained the confidence, that now he's like the loudest one on the team. He's trying to check those big 7th and 8th graders. Like, you got to be quiet so we don't have to run laps. Like, he's in there. He's on so just with that experience alone, it helps from a parent's perspective. It helped me see some things in my son that I didn't even know he had. I seen some great things, and I knew there was something else there, but it took a coach like that to pull it out. And I don't have those trainings or those skills to know, like, okay, well, if you make him, do some push-ups, he'll be a little bit better. I mean, I'm pretty strict as a mom, I think. I mean, Kyle would be like, lighten up. He's 8. But there was still some things in there that I did not see. And it makes it a little bit easier to lean on a coach or a mentor, especially another black man talking to my black son, to say, you know what, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I believe. Can you talk to him about it? Or this is what's going on in school, and not really setting it up. I'll do a check-in with Kyle. We talk quite often, and I'll say, this is what I'm feeling. And next thing you know, Isaiah's coming in and like, yeah, coach talked to me about my behavior. And I'm like, yes, thank you. Thank you. Even though mom's been telling you for a whole year about that in 30 minutes.
Sometimes it takes that outside influence, especially when it's a positive one, to get the information across. He has it, but hearing it from someone that he respects outside of you can actually help. And I'm a big fan of pushing kids to play sports because there's so many lessons that can be learned about life just from the sports and being on the team, not even dealing with a coach that wants to teach you outside things. Yeah. And it certainly sounds like that's what you're doing, and we need more of that because we don't. It's a wasted opportunity, right? When you have these kids at that age, you can just teach basketball. That's an easy thing. But knowing that life is going to be hard, especially when you're black or just in the inner city. But since we're talking about Black history, being black and having another mentor, seeing a man that demands respect, gives respect, and wants to teach you about life outside of just a sport is something that is invaluable.
It's huge because not only do you see it, you see different examples of what black men can be, whether it's at school, in your neighborhood, but you see it on TV, and so you're seeing what everyone else is saying, and what everyone else expects you to be. Yeah. And so, absolutely.
I'm sorry. And to kind of go back to what she was talking about with her son, Isaiah comes in full of energy, loved it, but I think, and this has nothing to do with me again, if we don't set up in one ball, if I don't set up what I did with my 8th graders, which were 7th graders last year, if I don't set up that type of culture with them as far as when we get new guys come in, don't treat them like new guys. Help them. Be there for them. Make them feel as if you've known them just like you've known your teammates for the last year or two. That, I think, is what separates one ball. There is no competition. There is no, let's be hesitant. Yes, I know he's in 3rd grade, but say if another 7th or another 8th grader comes in, they're not looking at them up and down like, man, now I have more competition. Like, oh, now I have another brother. Or now I have another sister, because Jessica, like she was talking about, the one whose son was murdered, her daughter came and people helped her just as much as they did her son, and that's what it's about, and that goes back to just us as minorities, whether we're black or brown, and then especially with it being Black History Month, us as black people, it's about creating new cultures again, or creating or kind of going back to the old way of how culture was, where you look out for your neighbors, where you look out for your neighbor's children. Even if they're not your children, they can still catch these hands. Okay. Or you can still call their mom and dad, or if the dad's there, which I hate saying that, because I feel like there are a lot of dads that are out there that are doing great, that don't get that recognition because of the whole stereotype of, there's a lot of single black mothers out there. No, there are some dads, but that's where I come in. That's where other mentors, come in. We kind of are that dad, that dad figure, whether it's we're there and we're hanging out, or whether we're just that voice. But anyway, just go back to that culture of stop being about yourself. I wouldn't be able to do this program if it was just about Kyle Hunt. Or if it was just about Jennifer, or just about whoever else is on my staff. I wouldn't be able to do it, because people see that. People see when you have that gain of, I want to gain, and you guys, I guess, can come along. No, so that's why my culture is bring in everybody. We literally embrace everybody. Yes, there'll probably be some bad apples, but I don't care, because I was once a bad apple. You can
deal with bad apples. Yeah, right? You can manage bad apples. You can learn from them. You can teach them. You can help them grow. You can just root them out. And if they can't be helped, then you can root them out.
Yeah, and the better part for me in that culture is the other side as well, or the other part is that gives a certain level of accountability to the children. And I feel, this is just my personal opinion, that a lot of challenges that we have as adults and in life is no one's holding anyone accountable for their part and for their counterpart. It's like, that's them. That's their problem. This is me. I'm doing my job, and I'm doing my job right. But, since they messed up, I can't. But if you're accountable to another person, you would say, you know what, you need to get it up. And that's what I love, that he, when they're lined up, they get in trouble. And, Kyle has this, every coach has their thing, but Kyle has this thing of saying that didn't look right. Like, it's not even, I don't care that y'all sweating. I don't care that your knees are shaking right now. It didn't look right. You didn't give it to me the way it's supposed to be given. So everybody on the wall. And I mean, it's good for the kids. I don't run out there and stop them. Sometimes I do cringe. But he makes the kids accountable to the ones that are next to him. And saying that if you're standing next to somebody that's talking, I know you're not talking, but you need to tell your brother, you need to tell your teammate, hey, shut up. Hey, coach is talking. Hey, you're not doing it right. Hey, your foot wasn't right when you did this, or your back wasn't straight when it was supposed to be. And I believe starting at a young age and building as adults, it will breed a better culture outside of sports, as well as, in sports. And so I'm really grateful for One Ball for that. But I would also like for you to take time to let everyone who's listening, if you're in the Stockton area, how do they get on the team?
All right, so
I want my son to be on the team.
So you can go to oneballbasketball.org. And you can check out our website. It's up. It's active. It's running. It's nice. We're still adding daily, but you can register your a child. Also, my email, my contact information is on there. If you want to contact me and say, hey, I have this 5th grader, and I want them to play. And then we will be uploading our practice schedule. Our tournament schedule is pretty much done. We'll be uploading the practice schedule for March within the next week, because we're going to start practices soon. So, yeah, that's how you get on. Just go to oneballbasketball.org. A lot of our other content, I guess I'll plug it, is on oneballbasketball _ and then on Facebook at One Ball Basketball Program. Okay. And so that's how you can kind of look at me in the whole coaching aspect, or when I did one of my speaking engagements at my brother's keeper for the chapter here in Stockton. Dr. Marlon Gale asked me to come out and speak, and so bits of that is up there. And then so just check us out. Like I tell everyone, I'm honest, I'm not for everybody. I may not be for you, I may not be for your kid. But one thing that you will get is you will get truth. You will get the real me. I'm not gonna put up a show, because I know I'm only a piece of the pie. Like, those kids are why I'm there, to build those families. Whether I can help it through sports, or I can just give them confidence to do more together. That's what I'm there for. And so definitely like we like to say. I don't know why or how we came up with the word audit. But come and audit a practice. That sounds real business-like.
Well, because you audited a class.
Yeah.
You audited a class for no credit.
Yeah.
You
So
just be there.
He's picking on me.
But no, actually I'm not.
That was a lightweight. Cool. Like, I don't know how he came up with that.
I literally use it all the time. Like, I say, hey, just come and audit us. I'm like, where did I get that from? But just come and audit us. Like, I don't like to turn away kids. Even if I can't directly give you a team, we can still figure something out. They can still come and be a part, because I'm going to drop nuggets. Like, I was just joking yesterday. I was preaching to this kid Saturday. I was preaching to this kid. I went over to his house. I had to pick up something for training him back in the summer. And he was sitting there, and his dad was like, yeah, man, I just can't get him to work out, man. He's just not doing this. And so, I don't know, something just came over me. I just got really frustrated. Not frustrated, mad, like, oh, like, what are you doing? Just frustrated, like, we black people and black men. I'll just say black men. Let's just go there. Sometimes we don't understand our power here on this earth. We are extremely powerful, extremely talented, extremely gifted. People naturally gravitate towards us, even if they don't want to. Like, I literally referee. I'm one of the only refs that has a beard. It's like me and this other guy. And I'm around all these people that don't look like me. I'm out here reffing these games. Do you know, after every game, at least two or three people who don't look like me walk up to me and say, it was a pleasure watching you referee? Who says that?
Right.
No, nobody shows up.
No one says it to a ref.
To watch
a ref.
To watch a referee call the game and blow the whistle. If anything, they want to yell.
Yell at the
and they want to be angry. And so that may seem very minor, which It may be to certain people, but for me, that shows power in what I'm doing.
That you have having an impact.
Exactly. It shows that my presence is being noticed. And so for people to come and want to shake my hand and tell me I was one of the best refs that they've seen, and I don't always look the part. I'm out there having fun. I'm out there talking mess. But that right there is just one instance of our gifts in that we as young black men. So I'm telling him, going back to the story without getting too off, going back, and I'm telling him, say, if you really love this, if you really love this game, you would do things. Your actions would show love, right? Just like if you have a partner, if you have, so for in my instance, if I have a wife or I do have a girlfriend, when I tell her, I say, if I don't show her love, but I'm telling her that I love her, she's gonna look at me like you're lying.
Yeah.
Like I don't see it. Where is it? Where is it? So I have to do things that show love, right? Same thing for our youth. If they want to be a writer, tell them to write. Show them how to write.
And teach them practices.
Teach them. If they want to do sports,
Right.
they have to train.
Right.
If they want to go into teaching, show them how it's good to get your message across. Show them how to teach.
I think a lot of times we don't get that.
No,
when we're
we don't.
That's what you're getting at.
Yeah. It's almost like we just tell them, what, do we have a break?
Yeah, we are going to go to a break.
Okay,
Yeah.
You're not
Well,
going to...
No, we were finishing your thought, because I actually had something to say about that, being a great example. And that goes back to what I was saying about children seeing more than they hear. And especially with our black kids, that's why that it takes a village. I am learning that as a parent, and that's why I am strict with where my son goes, who he talks to, and who's around him. I am very, very, very particular about, I don't care what it is. I don't care if we standing in a crowd. I took them, I take them places with me to marches and community events. I will change tables. I will stand in the back to make sure that what my son sees and hears is mirrored every single place we go. And I understand that I'm not always there. So that's why when I am with him, I wanted to make sure what I'm saying, what I want is being repeated. So when he sees different, he's not influenced different. So that's why it's important for him to spend time with Kyle. When they go on tournaments, Isaiah didn't have a team in the fall winter season, but he still went to the games. So he was learning the coaching side, the reffing side, and he was still going. Kyle took him personally, took care of him. The other coaches, Coach Andy was buying him stuff and concessions. My son gets spoiled. But anyway, wanting him to be immersed, be submerged in that culture, it's okay for a parent to let go in that sense, but we have to make sure that we're not just hearing it when you're at basketball practice. You're not just hearing it when you're at home, but everywhere you go, when they go over to their friend's house, make the friends the boys on the team, the parents that's there. So when they go to have sleepovers and these are just their friends, they're thinking they're just hanging out, but they're hearing in their minds and seeing the same type of thing over and over again, and it's being consistent. Because a lot of times we'll have that coach one time, and sometimes it works. Yeah. You have that one person come and say it, but what a disaster to never hear that again. Yeah. Then it doesn't mean anything.
Well, you have that. You said it takes a village, but there's the other part to it. It takes a village of the right people,
right?
With
exactly.
The right voice, exactly. And the right understanding,
exactly.
Yeah. And so, I'll let us go to the break, but I do have another thought after. But I don't want to.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Yeah, go ahead, and I'll say it when I come back.
You're not going anywhere.
No, nope, you're not going anywhere. Right. We still got a lot of time. Yeah, we still
How much time we got?
About 45 minutes.
About 45.
Oh, I'm doing the full 2 hours.
Yeah. Right. Well, we have a special guest coming on from New Zealand.
Oh yeah,
well,
you've been here for an hour and 15.
But you're not leaving.
And I didn't even feel it though. But that's actually pretty cool. That's what's up.
All right, we'll be right back here. This is KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, the Rise and Shine 209 Morning Show.
Wake up, Stockton.
Do not go anywhere.
KXVS LP.